The whole argument is ridiculous. I don't know if Guy will agree with me or not. I'm real curious to hear his opinion of the two of them going at each other last night. But, you know, I think that suddenly, and I have sat at this desk for I don't know how long and said Romney was going to be the guy, and I still think he's going to be the guy. But suddenly, you know, Newt has this big charge. You know, he won a state, and people are taking him seriously. He's a very good debater. It was almost like personality-wise, they flipped on each other last night. Newt was acting a little more like Romney. Romney was acting a little bit more like Newt.
What is your thought on that, Guy? About the way that the two of them were going at each other. Guy, can you hear us? I think we're having some audio problems with Guy. They're going to fix that, and you know.
Hey, that makes it easy for me to win with Guy, and I can never win. Finally, I'm right. Guy admits it. I'll speak for him.
No. But you know, the fact that Romney released his taxes and talked about $3 million that he did pay, based on about a 14% tax rate, was very interesting. Even though he's given millions away in charity as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing about his tax. I mean, I know people. His tax returns will probably get critiqued every which way possible. I don't think there's anything wrong with them whatsoever. The only mistake he made, in my opinion, was he waited a little bit too long, so he gave everybody some fodder to talk about. Right. Now they don't have it to talk about anymore.
Well, Guy, I know we've got you back. I'm glad you're back with us. Let me ask you to respond.
It's cold here in Chicago. You never know what happens with satellites.
You never know, right, exactly. Yeah, no, we're having a little bit better weather here in New York, thank God. But in any event, the fact that the way the two of them went at it last night, with Romney on the offensive against Gingrich, and that dynamic, how it played, what was your sense of it? Do you feel like Romney was able to gain some ground at a time when he's been asked to look more, confrontational against Gingrich and try to go at his background?
Well, I think that he definitely stopped the bleeding. We saw this. This was a major issue for Mitt Romney in the last two debates where he was asked, and I agree with Eric there, he was asked about his taxes. He equivocated. He floundered. He seemed like he was hiding something. And as we know now, he has nothing to hide. He's totally within the letter of the law. He's paid 100% of what he owes. He's donated an enormous amount of money to charity. But I think that, so he stopped the bleeding on that issue, and he did go on the offensive, I think, rather effectively against the former speaker on the issue of influence peddling and lobbying. Newt was trying to dance around the subject, was parlaying and parrying okay. Romney finally zinged him with a couple direct questions that, for just a brief moment, rendered Newt Gingrich speechless, which is a rarity.
Definitely. But do you think this is the approach that Romney has to take against Gingrich? Is it not better for Romney to go and take a look at or talk more about the former speaker's tenure in Congress and about how his colleagues tried to force him out early on during his speakership, and later how he was forced out? Is that not more of an argument that Romney can use to sort of say, don't just focus on the fact whether or not he's a lobbyist, but let's take a look at his record while he was on Capitol Hill? Guy?
Well, I think that his record on Capitol Hill it was mixed. He did lead part of that Republican revolution in 1994, and he deserves a lot of credit for that, and some of the ensuing legislative accomplishments in D.C., including welfare reform, capital gains tax cuts. There is a record there that Newt Gingrich can run on, but I think it's absolutely fair game for Mitt Romney or anyone else to come after what happened next, the next act in that saga, where Newt got caught up during the Clinton impeachment. He was, of course, having marital issues himself. He was not a particularly effective leader in terms of staying disciplined and on message, as we've heard a lot of his former colleagues say. It's striking how few of his former colleagues have endorsed him.
Well, there's actually, actually a letter going around signed by his former colleagues who say, you know what, here's why we're not supporting him?
There are a number of them who are openly opposing him, others who are standing on the sidelines and remaining silent. So I think, yeah, the way that he left Congress, the fact that he was reprimanded, the first speaker ever for ethics violations, the fact that he did pay a $300,000 fine for a failure to disclose a particular tax issue, those are also, I think, completely legitimate questions to be raised, because if they aren't raised now, you bet your bottom dollar the Democrats are sitting on all that stuff waiting for it.
Well,
and the same applies to the tax stuff on Romney's side.
Is it more effective for Romney to go at Newt that way, or should he continue to follow this this track where he's going after him for being an alleged lobbyist?
Well, I think both. I think you don't have to do one or the other. I think that, and that's what Romney did last night. I think that the lobbying stuff is particularly damaging to Gingrich because it was Freddie Mac, this big government-sponsored entity that was a huge contributor to the financial meltdown, and Gingrich was on their payroll raking in a whole lot of money. He says to be a historian, and now we know because he was forced to release his contract after he was calling for all the disclosure on Romney's side. We know that he was working for the top lobbyist at Freddie Mac. I mean, that's not something that's going to probably sit too well with a lot of Republican voters, so I think that Romney is right to pursue this dual track of criticism and raising questions. Will it be enough, though? We'll see. We've got just a couple more days. I head to Florida tomorrow.